Welcome back to my little world outside my hometown Haugesund again. It's time to give you a full tour of all my new equipment that has been installed the last 6 months. My aim has been to make my boat set up for a long-range solo sailing trip next year. And I can assure you the destination is no place either for beach partying or pina coladas.
I'm back, still alive. I'm out on Sletta, just west of Haugesund. There's raining and hailing, and we have 25 knots of wind. And I might take you some shots for this video. So I'm on my way for this island. It's called Faina, just outside Haugesund. So I'll be showing you Røver, which is this way, when I climb the mast climbing video. And I'm going to show you Faina, and I'm going to go through all of my gadgets and stuff on the boat to show you what I've done lately. So I'll see you back inside at the anchorage on Faina pretty soon. Alright.
About 45 minutes of sailing from Haugesund. You will find the beautiful little island community of Faina. To get here from Haugesund, you will have to go through an inshore ferry packed with small rocks and skerries. The ferry is marked with lateral lights leading you safely through the landscape until you reach open water before approaching the narrow entrance of Faina. With its narrow channels, bridges, and roads for walking around all of the island, it is all set for a really nice, memorable stay for the weekend. And with only 40 inhabitants, you'll quickly find your peace and a good spot along with nature. Sometimes it's nice in the harbor, but today I was aiming for my little hideaway. After finishing the shooting offshore, I set my course towards Faina. The boat got turned into the wind, sails got recovered, and slowly I found my way in between the cardinal marks and into the sheltered bay in Kvaløysund. The bay was today the perfect spot for dropping my anchor and give you a full tour of my equipment update on my 1976 Contessa 35.
Okay, just started to rain here. An anchor on Faina Island, just outside Haugesund, and we have a rainbow just on the. Can you see it? Landing just on the aft of my boat here. Must be a treasure somewhere. Okay, let's start. I'm gonna give you a full tour of my boat now, all the updates, all the equipment I've mounted on her the last 6-7 months. I'm doing this to be able to sail alone for long range, to be able to let the boat charge itself and steer itself. So I don't have to worry about power or steering. So let's go. In the comments field of my videos, I see many ask what the red thing on the back of the boat is. And that's the Hydroplane. This thing.
The Hydroplane is a stand-alone pure mechanical unit which steers the boat by using a flip-flop wind vane connected to its own auxiliary rudder. For long-range single-handed offshore sailing on smaller boats like mine, this is a much more powerful and safer way to steer than using any electrical power-dependent autopilot.
It steers the boat with help of the wind. Let's see, we take out 2 pins here, that's it. One for the movement of this one, and one for the rudder. So the way it works, when I sail, I point this into the wind. Let's say the wind would come this way now, and I point her into the wind, and she will start to rise because it's towards the wind, and at any point the boat will come out of course, and then she falls over like this, and then a mechanic in here turns this rudder down here. Can you see that? And it turns the boat back on course. It's really cool, really simple, but and really cool, and it steers the boat like hell. And when I use the Hydroplane, I need to set fast the steering wheel because you don't steer with the main wheel. You just or with the steering wheel, you just put it fast. You just make it fast. I have this rope here, which I use, and I tie it off in a position that is favorable to the Hydroplane, maybe a little bit off center somewhere, and trim the boat the right way, as I see fit to maintain the course. It's very strong, and it kicks the autopilot like nothing. It's amazing. So I'm very happy with it. It's 2 different kind of wind vanes, these red ones. This is an adjustable one. That means that, like it is now, it's on the lowest point. That means it's good for strong winds. And if it's light winds, you can rise it like this, so it gets really high. But it's really nice in light winds. It's more. It takes the wind more easy then. And if it gets strong, you just take it down, set it fast, and then it's good to go. And I have also got this fixed one, this original one from Hydroplane. Also really nice, but in strong winds it just gets really violent back and forth in the wind. So this is much better, I think. Nice. I have 6 different ways of steering the boat now, the way she's rigged, and yeah, one is by the wind vane, as I just showed you, and 2 by hand. It's kind of emergency steering. If something should happen to the main rudder or main steering, you can steer her by hand. And 3, that's with the autopilot. And yeah, number 4, if all this doesn't work, I can hand steer her by hand by putting this steering tiller in, and I can steer the boat by hand like this. You can see the wheel turn, and also I can steer her by autopilot, and yes, of course, hand steer. So that's 6 different ways of steering the boat, and so I feel pretty much redundant like it is now. Beautiful. Okay, So the next thing on my list is this Watt and See hydro generator. It's fantastic. It's designed to just stand like this when you don't use it, and when you want to charge your batteries. It can be pretty difficult to do this in sea, but you can offshore, but you can see it on the pictures coming up here.
The Watt and See generator is easy to let fall into the water. The tricky thing is to get it into the straight down position when doing speed through water. This requires quite a lot of strength, but you have to tighten the whole thing up using just a thin line by hand force. But when it's all set, it's a remarkable little thing to watch as it works back and forth along with the waves, giving you all the power you need for your boat.
And what you do, you just let go of it. Now it's really easy to do it because I'm at anchor, but in real life outside in the waters, big waves, it's more difficult. So what happens here, at 5 knots it's start charging with about 8 amps and up to 20 to 25 amps, up to 7 or 8 knots of speed. So that means well, the goal for me isn't to fully charge the batteries, it's just to maintain the consumption, to go in even flow, not using, not charging, then I'm happy. And with all radars and all the electronics on, lights and navigation, autopilot, everything, it's no match for me to even it out with the Watt and See. So it's fantastic. And I have this D bracket. It's called D bracket for angled sterns. As you can angle it the way you want to get it to stay straight down in the water. And you also have this for sterns that are vertically down, that you can just, this goes on the stern and you can just slide the hydroplane down into it. It's pretty smart. And you have a spare propeller. This is this is a smaller propeller for higher speed boats that with higher speeds. You can use this smaller propeller. So the one sitting on now, it's a little bit bigger than this, more suited for my boat with my speed. Yeah, and I haven't noticed any substantial speed loss at all. I don't know, it's hard to tell, but if it's a half knot, I don't know, but I can't say that I have noticed any speed loss at all when it goes in the water. So it's I think it's all good. And then it's the Scanstrut radar mount. Very happy with it. Goes back and forth as the boat heels over, and keeps a very clear radar picture, even when the boat is heeling very much. So it's perfect. And I want to say a little bit of the height placement of the radar. Mine is about 4.5 meters over water. I think that's perfect. I know many wants the radar to be high up, as high as possible, to have a long range. But that means when you get close to shore, between buoys and navigation buoys and stuff, you don't get it on the radar because the radar is too high to pick it up. So if you lower it 4 or 5 meters, you will pick up the close buoys, and that's what you want when you navigate at night on your radar. It's not necessary to look at ships coming from miles and miles away. You're doing 6 to 8 knots, so it's no need to see a ship 10 miles away. It's much more important to see the land close to you when you get close to shore. That's my opinion, anyway. Okay, let's move along. That's the new Raymarine ACU 200 liner drive Autopilot. It seems to be really nice, really good. I've tried it in a lot of bad weather now,
Well, that's to say the least. If you have seen my Encountering Force 10 video, this shows how I threw me and my boat into 50 knots of downwind, being violently pushed towards my hometown by 6 to 8 meter waves. And the new Autopilot steered most of the way without any major issues.
Perfectly good. So just under here I have to make this backing plate, and under here that's the drive unit, and it comes from here and goes to this tiller here with the rudder mechanism, this rudder to see the angle of the rudder, and yeah, works like a charm. 300 kilos of push force, so it's fantastic compared to the little drive belt I had on my wheel earlier. It was nerve-wracking in heavy weather. So I'm glad I'm done with that. Seems to be holding. It's blowing pretty fresh here now. Okay, going on. The Walder boom brake. This is the Walder boom brake, and it's supposed to slow down the boom when the boom goes over in a jibe downwind. And it's set up with a rope to I don't remember the name now, but in the deck bracket here to the wire to the mast, and it goes up 3 times around this kind of wheel, and it goes all the way back to a winch here. There we go, and it's made fast here. So when I tighten this, I tighten around the wheel here, so the boom gets stuck. So now I tighten it pretty good. So if you see now, I'm gonna have a hard time taking it back and forth like this. So it's really stuck now, like this. And the purpose is to slow down the boom when it comes over, and it also holds the boom in place when I'm not using it like now. So it's perfect. Oh, this is even slack, so it just stays by itself. Nice. And yeah, it also actually eliminates the need for this kicking strap. I don't use it anymore. It does just the same job as long as you have the ropes angled forward like this. So, but it's tricky to use. I have to say it's tricky to use in a lot of wind, as you can see on the pictures I'm going to show now. You have a little look, and yeah, you see it's I'm not sure if I got it really. It might be like the ropes are of a wrong quality. I don't know. It should be some else rope. It's like it's stuck a little bit and stuck on the brake wheel. I don't know. Okay.
Yes, that's correct, Erik. During my boom brake offshore trials, I used this red 8mm Dynama line, which caused a too high friction to the boom brake drum. This makes the boom getting either too stuck, almost not moving at all, or too loose, just slamming it over. After a little chat with the producer, I quickly learned that an 8mm pre-stretched polyester line is the one to be preferred for my kind of boat. Another thing to be added to the list.
Also want to mention I got new Lumar hatches, high quality, 12mm glass, and a really good gasket here, and the overlay for the aluminium frame protects the gasket very well. And I've been testing it for hundreds and hundreds of miles offshore now, and it works really good. This is a big 70 by 70 hatch, the biggest I have. 12mm glass, and it's if you tighten the arms here, it can be stuck in every position. I haven't tightened it now, so yeah, so it's nice and dry now. For the first time for 15 years, it's nice and dry. I remember the old hatch was just leaking like shit, and my bed was wet all over. I have a leakage from my good old hatch here from 1976. Tried to patch it up many times, but anyway, that's over now. Thank God. Still sitting at the same spot at anchor, luckily. Okay, so that's the walkthrough of the boat. I hope you liked it and learned something. Ask questions in the comment field if you want. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. I get a lot of comments, and it's hard to answer every one of them. But please ask and try to answer as good as I can. The reason for this refit and upgrading of the boat is because I have a many years long dream that I'm going to realize next year. And well, yeah, take a look what it is. See you.
My parents introduced me to sailing when I was 11. A spark was immediately lit. With time, the interest for sailing went from being a hobby to almost be an obsession. I went further and further each time, and with the years I got more and more attracted to single-handed sailing. The feeling of total independence and freedom released my hunger for adventuring. Today, 27 years later, the little spark has developed to being a burning fire.
Once again here to relieve you from Bahamas snorkel diving.
That has got me to see the most amazing places around the North Atlantic. But the adventures has just begun. Starting next year in July, I will take on a 2-month single-handed 2,500 nautical miles round trip of the Norwegian Sea. Departing from Haugesund, I will take the offshore route up along the Norwegian coast. On the way, I will only stop by the old small fishing communities on the islands along the coast. After the first 350 nautical miles, I will have a rest on Halten. Then I proceed further to drop my anchor at Træna. We have now crossed the latitude of the Arctic Circle, and the landscape starts evolving with islands formed as tall mountains and steep cliffs. Last stop in Norway is Værøya in amazing Lofoten. Here I will take a deep breath before setting off to cross the Norwegian Sea to the beautiful volcanic island of Jan Mayen, 520 nautical miles away. Anchoring is the only way for a safe stay here, and weather is controlling everything. Still, I hope for a possibility to set my foot on land to say hello to the only 18 people at the military radio station at Olonkien City, Jan Mayen. After what will probably be a brief stay, it's now time to set the course to Greenland and the tiny village of Hydroplane. Sitting at the entrance of the world's largest fjord, the Scoresby Sound. Icing is a big issue here, and these waters are only accessible from June to October. Still, I'm really hoping to see some icebergs. From here, I will start pointing my bow back towards Norway. On my way, I will stop by Seyðisfjord, Iceland. And then on towards the amazing cliffs of Faroe Islands. Stopping by Tórshavn, and then back to good old Shetland, where I hopefully pay a brief visit to the people at Faula, if weather permits. Then to Lervik, Shetland. To catch my breath with some paints on my favorite pubs. And finally, I can cross the North Sea back to Haugesund, Norway.
Yes, so what do you think about that? I hope you find it interesting and will follow that trip and engage in it. Next video after this one will be, now I showed you all the equipment, how to sail alone and for long range and what equipment I need to do that. And the next video will contain all the safety equipment like EPIRB and pyrotechnic, emergency call on radio. I'm going to inflate my old raft because I will buy a new one, and I will also buy a sea anchor, a really heavy duty sea anchor, and I will go offshore and test it for you. It's a plane disturbing me, and I'm going to make it all on video, so that will be the next video. Hope you look forward to it and will follow it. And yeah, all right, enough shit talking now. I'm going to go home again and I guess edit this video, so I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for following. Thanks, bye bye.
Thank you for watching, and remember, you can support me on Patreon and follow my actions on Facebook and Instagram, and of course subscribe to my YouTube channel for more single-handed sailing. You can now also get your own NBGS t-shirt. Check out the link in the video description. So long, Erik.